Most space companies sell a dream. Satellogic sells data, and that difference changes everything. While headlines focus on rockets and moon missions, Satellogic is quietly building something far more practical. A real-time map of the planet, refreshed daily, sold mainly to governments and institutions that actually pay. This is Satellogic, and it's one of the most interesting risk-reward stories in space tech right now. Satellogic operates in Earth observation, meaning it launches satellites designed to image the Earth's surface in extremely high resolution. These images aren't for stargazing. They're used to track borders, monitor military activity, analyze crops, spot illegal mining, assess climate damage, and support national security decisions. In other words, Satellogic isn't chasing consumer apps. Its customers are governments, defense agencies, and state-backed organizations. That matters, because government demand behaves very differently from consumer or enterprise tech. Contracts are slower, but when they land, they're large, recurring, and sticky. Countries don't switch satellite data providers lightly. Once integrated into defense or intelligence workflows, suppliers tend to stay embedded for years. Satellogic's big ambition is scale. The company wants to build a high-frequency, low-cost satellite constellation that images the entire planet every day, not occasionally, not selectively, but continuously. This is where the story gets interesting. Unlike traditional space companies that build a few expensive satellites, Satellogic focuses on mass production. Smaller satellites, built cheaper, launched more frequently, refreshed faster. It's a manufacturing mindset applied to orbit. If they succeed, Satellogic doesn't just sell images. It sells persistent global awareness. That's incredibly valuable in a world where geopolitical risk is rising, borders are contested, and governments want independent intelligence rather than relying on allies. But here's the other side of the coin. Space is capital intensive, and Satellogic is not yet a cash machine. Launching satellites costs money. Maintaining a constellation costs money. Expanding coverage costs more money. And while government contracts are powerful, they don't always arrive on investor timelines. This creates a familiar tension: long-term strategic value versus short-term funding pressure. That's where the risk comes in. Satellogic sits in a narrow corridor. If it secures enough government demand to justify scaling, the upside is enormous: recurring contracts, defensible positioning, and a role as critical infrastructure for modern states. If it doesn't, dilution and funding concerns become the dominant narrative. There's also competition. Major players already exist in Earth observation, some with deeper pockets. Satellogic's edge isn't that it's alone. It's that it's trying to do the same job cheaper, faster, and at higher frequency. That's a bold bet. And bold bets are exactly where asymmetric returns live. This isn't a set-and-forget stock. It's a monitoring stock, a thesis stock. You're betting on governments continuing to prioritize sovereignty, surveillance, and independent data, and on Satellogic proving it can scale before capital markets lose patience. That's the risk. The reward is being early to a company that could become a default layer of global intelligence, quietly powering decisions most people never see. Satellogic doesn't sell rockets. It sells visibility. And in a world that feels increasingly unstable, visibility might be one of the most valuable commodities of all. Thanks for watching Finance Spot. If you want more deep dive breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.